In a small college town, there lived a male college student named Mark. He was known for his adventurous spirit and love for exploring the unknown. One fateful night, as the clock struck midnight, Mark found himself walking alone outside, the streets shrouded in darkness. As he strolled along the deserted sidewalks, a chilling wind whispered through the trees, sending shivers down his spine. The atmosphere was eerie, with only the faint glow of street lamps casting long shadows on the pavement. Unbeknownst to Mark, he was about to encounter a terrifying ordeal that would test his courage like never before. Suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, Mark caught sight of a peculiar figure lurking in the darkness. "Mark," nervously, "who's there? Is someone following me?" The figure started to move, slowly at first, then with increasing speed, closing the distance between them. Mark's heart raced as he broke into a sprint, desperately trying to escape the clutches of the shadowy pursuer. Mark, panicked. Oh God, what is that thing? Leave me alone." The figure seemed relentless, its ominous presence growing closer and closer. Mark's mind raced, searching for an escape route. "Mark," frantically, think, I need to find a way to lose it." He veered off the main road and darted into a dimly lit alleyway, hoping to lose the pursuer in the labyrinthine twists and turns. Mark, breathlessly, "Maybe I can shake it off in here, just keep running." As he weaved through the narrow passageways, fear threatened to consume him. The shadow figure continued to give chase. Mark, gasping, "It's still behind me. What does it want from me?" Just as Mark thought he was doomed to be caught, he stumbled upon an old abandoned building. Without hesitation, he barged inside, hoping to find sanctuary within its decaying walls. The door groaned in protest as Mark pushed it open, revealing a desolate interior filled with dust and darkness. The air inside was heavy and oppressive, as if the building itself held a sinister secret. Mark's pulse pounded in his ears as he stepped cautiously into the abandoned structure, his footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Moonlight filtered through cracked windows, casting eerie shadows that danced along the cracked walls. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of Mark's rapid breaths and the distant hooting of an owl. The building seemed frozen in time, a forgotten relic of the past, untouched by the outside world. Mark's gaze swept across the dilapidated rooms, searching for a place to hide from the pursuing shadow figure. His eyes landed on a staircase leading to the upper floors, its steps worn and creaking under the weight of years. With a mixture of trepidation and determination, Mark ascended, his hand gliding along the rickety banister for support. As he reached the top of the stairs, he found himself in a dimly lit corridor lined with doorways. Each room seemed to hold its own secrets, its own ghosts of the past. Mark's instincts told him to keep moving, to find a secure place where the shadow figure would never find him. Mark cautiously entered one of the rooms, its peeling wallpaper and decaying furniture bearing witness to the passage of time. The musty scent filled his nostrils as he scanned the room for any signs of danger. The flickering light bulb above cast eerie shadows that danced and writhed on the walls, adding to the feeling of unease. Finding an old wardrobe tucked in the corner, Mark opened it and slipped inside, his heart pounding against his ribcage. He closed the door just enough to leave a crack for air, but concealed enough to hide his presence. He held his breath, straining to listen for any sign of the shadow figure's approach. Minutes passed like hours as Mark's mind raced with a flurry of thoughts. Why was he being chased? What did the shadow figure want from him? Questions swirled in his head, but there were no answers. All he knew was that he needed to stay hidden until he could figure out a way to escape this terrifying ordeal. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by the sound of footsteps echoing through the corridor. Mark's heart skipped a beat as the shadow figure's presence drew nearer. The footsteps grew louder, accompanied by an unsettling, raspy breathing that sent chills down Mark's spine. He pressed his trembling body against the back of the wardrobe, desperately trying to make himself smaller, less noticeable. The footsteps grew closer and closer until they stopped right outside the room. Mark held his breath, his whole being consumed by fear. The door to the room creaked open, revealing a sliver of the hallway beyond. A wave of darkness swept into the room, its suffocating presence threatening to engulf everything in its path. Mark's heart pounded in his chest as he watched the shadow figure move cautiously into the room, its shape shifting and contorting in the dim light. Mark's mind raced, searching for a plan, an escape route, but his body remained frozen, paralyzed by fear. The shadow figure seemed to sense his presence, its eerie gaze scanning the room, inching closer to the wardrobe. Just as the figure reached out a shadowy hand, Mark's instincts kicked in. With a surge of adrenaline, He burst out of the wardrobe, darting past the shadow figure and racing toward the staircase. The figure let out a bone-chilling scream, its anguished cry echoing through the abandoned building. Mark's legs carried him down the stairs, each step a desperate leap toward freedom. He burst through the front door, emerging into the night air, gasping for breath. He glanced back, half expecting to see the shadow figure in pursuit, but the building stood still and silent, devoid of any signs of life. Relief washed over Mark as he realized he had escaped the clutches of the shadow figure, at least for now. But the encounter had left an indelible mark on his soul, a reminder of the darkness that lurked in the corners of reality. As he made his way back to his college dorm, the night seemed less menacing, the streetlights casting a reassuring glow. Mark knew that he would never forget the terrifying chase, but he also knew that he had discovered a strength within himself, a resilience that would carry him through any future encounters with the unknown. And with that newfound courage, he vowed to continue his adventures, knowing that the world held both beauty and darkness, waiting to be explored. In a college town shrouded in mystery, a college girl named Hannah found herself assigned to a dreary dorm room. The room had a foreboding ambiance, with flickering lights, peeling wallpaper, and a constant sense of unease. Little did Hannah know that her dorm mate, Sarah, harbored a terrifying secret. She was possessed by a malevolent entity that yearned to inflict harm upon Hannah. Hannah and Sarah were initially drawn together by the excitement and nervousness of starting their college journey. They quickly formed a bond, spending late nights chatting about their hopes and dreams, sharing stories of their pasts, and laughing over the smallest of things. Their connection seemed unbreakable as they navigated the unfamiliarity of college life side by side. As the days turned into weeks, Hannah began to notice subtle changes in Sarah's behavior. She became increasingly withdrawn, her once lively personality replaced by a somber and distant demeanor. The flickering lights in the room seemed to reflect the turmoil brewing within Sarah's soul. Hannah, looking around nervously. "Sarah, is everything okay? You seem different lately." Sarah, a cold, distant tone. "Oh, Hannah, you have no idea what I'm going through." Hannah, concerned. "What do you mean? You can talk to me, Sarah. We're roommates." Sarah, her voice dropping to a chilling whisper. "Roommates, yes, but there's something inside me, something evil." Hannah's heart skipped a beat, fear creeping into every inch of her being. She never expected such words from her once friendly roommate. Hannah, trembling. "What are you talking about, Sarah? This isn't like you." Sarah, a hollow laugh. "Like me? I'm no longer in control, Hannah. It's using me to get to you." Hannah, panicking. "What? Who's using you? What does it want?" Sarah, her eyes turning empty. "It wants to harm you, Hannah. It wants to see you suffer." Hannah's mind raced, desperately searching for a way to understand and protect herself from the malevolent entity. Hannah, desperate. "Sarah, we need help. We can't face this alone." Sarah, mockingly. "Help? There's no help for what's inside me, Hannah. It's too late." Hannah, fighting back tears. "No, Sarah, we can't give up. There must be something we can do." Sarah, her voice filled with dark certainty. "There is one way, Hannah, one forbidden path." Hannah's desperate screams pierced through the walls, haunting the other residents of the dormitory. Each agonizing cry echoed the depths of her terror, reaching the ears of those who dared to listen. The once promising college experience transformed into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. As the struggle between Hannah and the possessed Sarah raged on, the room itself seemed to take on a life of its own. The walls warped and contorted, mirroring the twisted and sinister nature of the battle unfolding within. Shadows danced and writhed, mocking the futile attempts of the two girls to escape their inevitable fate. Hannah, fighting back tears. "Sarah, please, snap out of it. You're stronger than this." Sarah, her voice distorted and filled with malice. "There is no Sarah anymore, only the darkness that has consumed me." Hannah's heart shattered as she realized the truth. Her dear friend Sarah was lost to her forever. The entity had devoured her soul, leaving only a vessel of malevolence in its wake. Hannah, voice trembling. "I won't let you win, Sarah. I won't let the darkness claim us both." With a surge of determination, Hannah mustered every ounce of strength she had left. She fought against the possessed Sarah's relentless onslaught, pushing back with a desperate hope of reclaiming their lives. Their battle continued for what felt like an eternity, the room pulsating with an eerie energy. The air grew thick with the stench of fear and desperation, suffocating Hannah's every breath. She knew that time was running out, that her only chance for survival was to confront the darkness head-on. Hannah, voice trembling but resolute. "I won't let you consume me, Sarah. I will break free from this nightmare." Sarah, mocking laughter. "You're a fool, Hannah. You can't escape your fate. The darkness will always find you." But Hannah refused to succumb to the entity's taunts. She clung to the flickering flame of hope, determined to face whatever awaited her on the other side. With one final surge of bravery, Hannah mustered all her remaining strength and delivered a decisive blow to the possessed Sarah. The entity shrieked in agony as its hold on Sarah's body weakened, giving Hannah a brief window of opportunity. Hannah, whispering a desperate plea, "Sarah, fight back. Remember who you are. We can overcome this together." For a fleeting moment, a glimmer of recognition flickered in Sarah's eyes. It was a glimpse of the friend Hannah had once known, the Sarah whose laughter had filled their dorm room. But the darkness was relentless. It fought back with a vengeance, its grip tightening around Sarah's soul once more. In a final act of defiance, the entity unleashed its full power, overpowering Hannah's resistance. Hannah, voice trembling, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I couldn't save us." And in that bone-chilling moment, the room was engulfed in an all-consuming darkness that seemed to seep into every crack and crevice. The once familiar space, where warm memories were shared and friendships blossomed, was now shrouded in an eerie silence. The air grew heavy with an otherworldly presence, sending shivers down the spines of anyone unfortunate enough to be nearby. Hannah's agonized screams pierced through the suffocate, a profound sense of anguish and despair. The sound seemed to reverberate through the walls, reaching far beyond the confines of the dormitory. It was as if the very essence of her suffering had melded with the sinister laughter that echoed in the halls, creating a chilling symphony of torment that sent chills down the spines of even the bravest souls. As the haunting laughter of the possessed Sarah intermingled with Hannah's cries, an unsettling aura settled over the entire college campus. Once vibrant and full of life, the bustling hub of learning and growth now resembled a ghost town, its once lively atmosphere replaced with an eerie stillness. The echoing halls, once filled with the jovial chatter of students, were now eerily silent, as if holding their breath in anticipation of the horrors that had unfolded. The desolation that gripped the college campus was palpable, its once thriving spirit dampened by an unshakable sense of foreboding. The halls and classrooms that had once been filled with laughter, camaraderie, and the pursuit of knowledge now seemed frozen in time, trapped in the grip of an unrelenting darkness. The dorm room, where the malevolence had taken root, stood as a haunting monument to the tragedy that had befallen it. Its walls, once adorned with posters and photographs that reflected the dreams and aspirations of its inhabitants, now served as a grim canvas for the twisted events that had unfolded within. The room seemed to radiate an aura of twisted energy, its very essence forever tainted by the malevolent forces that had consumed it. On a cold, moonless night, Emily, a weary college student, found herself driving alone along a desolate road shrouded in an unsettling darkness. The mist hung in the air, thickening the atmosphere with an eerie sense of foreboding. As Emily cautiously maneuvered through the winding path, her heart pounded in her chest, sensing an invisible presence lurking in the shadows. Emily, whispering to herself, "What a creepy night to be driving. I should have stayed home and finished my assignment. Why did I choose this road?" Suddenly, Emily's eyes widened as she noticed a faint figure ahead, standing motionless in the middle of the road. It was a little child, their fragile form consumed by sorrow. The child's tear-streaked face and quivering lips tugged at Emily's heartstrings, a mixture of concern and curiosity flooding her mind. Emily, softly, "Oh no, what's a child doing out here at this hour? Are you lost?" The child's cries intensified, echoing through the stillness of the night, as if pleading for help. Emily's empathy compelled her to investigate further, despite the trepidation brewing within her. Emily, reassuringly, "Hey, it's okay. Don't cry. I'm here to help you. What's your name?" Child, whispering, "Thomas." Emily approached cautiously, her steps measured and gentle. But as she drew nearer, a chill ran down her spine, for she noticed a peculiar shift in Thomas's demeanor. His tears ceased, replaced by an unsettling grin that spread across his face, transforming his once innocent countenance into something malevolent. Emily, uneasily, "Thomas, are you all right?" Thomas, sinisterly, "You shouldn't have come here, Emily. You've entered a realm of darkness." Emily's heart skipped a beat, her mind racing with fear and confusion. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end, as if a malevolent presence loomed over her. Emily, trembling. What? What do you mean? Thomas, mockingly. You're trapped now, Emily. Trapped in a nightmare you can't escape. A surge of panic surged through Emily's veins, propelling her into a frenzied sprint back to her car. Her breath came in ragged gasps, her footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. Emily, frantically, I need to get out of here. This can't be happening. She fumbled for her keys, her hands trembling in the darkness. Emily, voice trembling. Come on, start, damn it. Thomas, whispering, echoing through the night. You can't escape, Emily. I'll always be here watching. Finally, the engine roared to life, and Emily slammed her foot on the accelerator, the car hurtling away from the nightmarish encounter. Glancing in the rearview mirror, she caught a glimpse of Thomas, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly malevolence. Emily, whispering to herself, What? What was that? I've never experienced anything like this before. It felt so real. In the days that followed, Emily delved into research, desperate to find answers to the inexplicable encounter. She sought the help of paranormal experts, scoured ancient texts and online forums, and engaged in late-night conversations with those who had encountered similar supernatural phenomena. Emily's voice trembled as she shared her story with others, hoping for guidance and reassurance. Emily, voice shaking. It was like he knew things, dark things. I can't shake off the feeling that he's still watching me even now. What do I do? How do I protect myself? But no definitive answers came. The encounter had forever changed Emily, leaving her haunted by the memory of that chilling night. She lived in a perpetual state of fear, her nights plagued by nightmares, and her days consumed by the search for answers. Emily's once optimistic spirit became clouded by a sense of impending doom, a realization that she had unwittingly stumbled into a realm beyond her understanding. The presence of Thomas lingered, an ever-present shadow that reminded her of the darkness that dwelled beneath the surface of her reality. In the end, despite Emily's valiant efforts and unwavering determination, the encroaching darkness proved to be insurmountable. It loomed over her like an impenetrable shroud, its tendrils extending further into her life with each passing day. The forces she had dared to challenge, those that lurked in the depths of the supernatural realm, closed in around her with an unstoppable ferocity. Every step she took in her battle against the encroaching darkness seemed to be met with an equal and opposite force, pushing her further into despair. The lines between reality and nightmare blurred to the point of non-existence, and Emily found herself trapped in a twisted web of uncertainty, unable to distinguish between what was real and what was a mere figment of her tormented mind. As Emily fought tooth and nail to retain her sanity and preserve her fragile existence, the darkness claimed its final victory. Its tendrils wrapped tightly around her, suffocating her hopes and extinguishing the flickering light of her spirit. She became entangled in an eternal nightmare, a prisoner of the horrors she had dared to confront. No allies or ancient rituals could save her from the clutches of the malevolent forces that had been unleashed. The once promising path of protection and salvation she had embarked upon became a treacherous labyrinth of false hope and despair. The very secrets she had sought to unravel now ensnared her, their insidious grip tightening with a merciless determination. Emily's struggles and sacrifices, her relentless pursuit of survival, had all been in vain. The encroaching darkness had claimed its prize, reveling in the destruction of her once vibrant life. She had dared to challenge the boundaries of existence, to confront the ancient and unknowable, but in doing so, she had unwittingly sealed her own fate. Her dreams became twisted visions of horror, her waking moments filled with a suffocating sense of dread. The weight of the unknown bore down upon her, eroding the very fabric of her being. Each night she descended into a nightmare realm, haunted by the faces of those she had lost, by the tormented wails of forgotten souls. Emily's name faded into obscurity, a forgotten memory lost within the annals of darkness. The world moved on, oblivious to the unspeakable fate that had befallen the brave yet unfortunate college student. The encroaching darkness, emboldened by its triumph, continued its unholy reign unabated, its malevolence perpetuating an unending cycle of terror and despair. And as the echoes of her anguished cries faded into the abyss, a chilling realization settled over those who had known her. They too felt the ever-looming presence of the encroaching darkness, a reminder that the line between safety and devastation was fragile, and that the horrors that had claimed Emily could just as easily claim them. Her story served as a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the perils that awaited those who dared to delve too deep into the realms of horror. It echoed through the ages, a chilling testament to the insatiable hunger of the unknown and the unforgiving nature of the supernatural forces that lurked in the shadows. And as the world continued to spin, oblivious to the darkness that lurked beneath its surface, there were whispers among those who were wise enough to listen. They spoke of Emily, the college student who had ventured into the abyss and never returned, a tragic figure forever bound to the realm of nightmares. Her legacy served as a haunting reminder that sometimes, in the realm of horror, there are no heroes, no triumphs, only the relentless pursuit of survival in a world where the line between salvation and damnation grows increasingly blurred.